Alina Ferrante's The Lying Life of Adults. This has been called the Indie Darling Pick of the Year, and you may know the author from her Neapolitan saga, which was turned into the brilliant HBO show, My Brilliant Friend. It takes a look, much like that series, it takes a look at life in Naples in the 60s and 70s, and is from the perspective of an adolescent girl. She's looking at lust, the adults that have infidelities in her life, the way that they hurt and abuse each other, how she makes sense of that as a person who's kind of coming into her own as an adult. So great pick if you're interested in Italy and specifically the rich Neapolitan culture. One of the most buzzed about books of the season is Transcendent Kingdom by Yajasi. You may be familiar with her from her celebrated debut novel, Homegoing, which came out in 2016. Transcendent Kingdom has her shifting the narrative a little bit to follow a 6-year PhD student called Gifty, who is researching reward-seeking behavior in mice at Stanford. And while she tries to focus on her research, she's also grappling with a legacy of trauma and addiction within her family. Her mother, a West African immigrant, suffers from suicidal depression and comes to stay with Gifty at the beginning of the novel. She's also looking back at her brother's heroin addiction, which began after he got addicted to OxyContin after having an ankle injury that ruined his promising career as an athlete and eventually led to his death, which of course is tied in with her mother's trauma. So this is a book about looking at your roots. She's looking at the way she was raised in an evangelical church in the South and how that impacted her family after they immigrated. So a brilliant novel, Yajasi, writer to watch. Personally, one of my very favorite writers right now is the novelist and short story writer Ottessa Moshfegh. My Year of Rest and Relaxation, runaway bestseller, that talks about a woman who is young, beautiful, wealthy, recent Columbia grad. It's New York City right before 9/11, and her plan is to try and sleep through an entire year, thus the title, My Year of Rest and Relaxation. With the help of a corrupt psychotherapist, she takes drugs, both real and imagined, to induce herself to be in a sleeping state for an entire year. Her newest novel, Death in Her Hands, is an existential murder mystery, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend this for fans of traditional mysteries. It's much more of a literary type of mystery that may not even have a body. I'm also a really huge fan of her short stories. This is her award-winning debut short story collection, Homesick for Another World. It's laugh-out-loud funny. It's absolutely electric. This is a great gift for somebody in their 20s or 30s who likes their literature with an edge. Think black comedy like Vonnegut.
Hi there. Most of you know me probably as the kid specialist here at Books Inc. But little secret, I also read romance. In fact, that's what's been getting me through a lot of our quarantine days. I have really needed a little happily ever after, or at least a happily for now. So I have a few romance titles to share with you guys. First, we'll start with one that's officially teen, but anyone can read romance, right? Instant Karma by Marissa Mayer, who you might know from her Heartless books and a lot of her other kind of sci-fi fantasy teen books, but this one is contemporary romance. It's just a charmer. There's sea otters. Pick this one up. My holiday romance pick is Christina Lauren's In a Holidaze. Think Groundhog Day romance set in a really snowy, fun, rustic cabin. Our main character is one of two families that have been getting together since she was a child. The other family has two sons who have been her best friends forever. So essentially, it's a friends to lovers, and she gets to keep repeating the same day over and over until she gets it right. Total charmer. I would say maybe a 1 or 2 on the steamy scale. Next, The Right Swipe by Alicia Ray. This was actually the first in her... Oh, I'm forgetting the name of the new series that it's going to be, but this is going to be the first of 3. Girl Gone Viral was the follow-up, and this was chosen as the top romance book of the year from the California Independent Booksellers Association. So you know it's got to be great. This has some great girl boss energy, and I would say high on the steamy level for this one. Definitely contemporary, a woman who has started a sort of an online social dating app, and how it could potentially go wrong and how she figures out how to make it right. So here is my favorite romance pick for 2020. It's The Rakess by Scarlett Peckham. This is the first in a new, I believe it's going to be a trilogy, The Society of Sirens. Set in 1827, there's this group of sort of radical libertine women who get together and essentially are looking for equal rights. This one takes place a lot in Scotland. She finds a widower who has 2 kids. She's off there to try and get away to write her memoirs, and she needs a little rest and relaxation at the same time. So no connections. She proposes that they share some sexy times together. Of course, it leads to a more emotional connection. The writing, the sort of modern perspective of a book set, in 1827, really just blew me away. It's fresh, it's lovely, and it's very high on the steamy scale, so beware. But hopefully you pick up The Rakess, and I can't wait for the rest of the Society of Sirens.
One of my absolutely favorite romance authors is Jasmine Guillory. Royal Holiday is the newest, or is out in paperback now. Her newest is Party of Two, and the other book that I have right now is The Wedding Party. All of these characters are somewhat linked, whether they're one book is about a mother, the other book is about a daughter or a friend. A lot of them take place partially in the Bay Area, which is always nice. It's easier to picture what's going on and where the characters are. Really funny, smart romances. I very much enjoyed Royal Holiday, and since it's that time of year, you can pick it up in paperback now. Hi, Heidi with Books Inc. Here to talk to you about mystery, thriller, and true crime. 2 of the fast-paced thrillers that I read this year were American Spy by Lauren Wilkinson. This takes place during the heart of the Cold War in 1986, and it's about an FBI agent. Very fast-paced, and you get a little bit of history along with your thriller in this one. The next one was Bluebird by Attica Locke. I could not put this down. It was so incredibly immersive, and Attica Locke's writing is just wonderful. Have really enjoyed her writing and can't wait to read more. And then for true crime, this is a newer book called Yellowbird, Oil, Murder, and a Woman's Search for Justice in Indian Country by Sierra Crane Murdoch. True crime happening in North Dakota with the oil fields and the intersection of the Native nations near the oil fields. There is a disappearance, and one woman gets out of prison and she cannot let go what happened to this person. She wants to find out what happened to him. So a wonderful true crime book, and you learn a little bit more about the North Dakota oil fields as well as the Native nations. This is When the Light of the World Was Subdued, Our Songs Came Through. It's a Norton anthology of Native Nations poetry edited by Joy Harjo, who is the U.S. Poet Laureate for the third year. Some great poetry. I just keep this next to me so that I can pick it up when I'm wanting to read something short and sweet.